Wing and a prayer.
I gotta figure that my parents are like, we got 5 other kids if he goes missing.
Story.
All right. Oh, this one I wrote for you. I wrote this last minute as we were coming into the show. So if you're Joe and your daddy, is it Jaddy? Jaddy, tell me a story. Joe, Papa Joe, Daddy.
Oh no.
What did you do that you'll never let your kids do?
Oh man. So I think I've told this story before on the podcast, but um, there was a summer where I spent a lot of time with my cousins, but my cousins, their parents were divorced. My uncle was divorced from my aunt. My aunt lived right across the street, but my uncle lived, I don't know, like 8 miles away or so, maybe further. And I asked my parents, I'm like, can I walk over to the uncle's house to play with my cousins?
A mile and a half, did you say?
No, like 8 miles.
Oh, you're Eminem. My bad. Gotcha.
Yeah, it was like 8, 9 miles, and it was
6, 7.
it was busy streets, and I mean we're in the suburbs of Philadelphia, and they're like, yeah,
You're walking the
okay.
streets of Philadelphia.
Born and raised. And yeah, no, it took me probably 2.5 hours to walk over to their place from ours. And yeah, I mean I made it there fine. We played, and then my parents, when they got off work, came and picked me up afterwards, so I didn't have to walk home. But yeah, no.
How long did that take you?
Like 2.5 hours of walking.
Gee whiz. The things we did as kids that we thought
Oh
were
yeah,
normal, right? Or just didn't think they were abnormal. It's like, oh, let's go.
yeah. Let's just go. And
And your parents. So, any major highways, any state roads, any craziness like that they had to cross?
no, but big enough thoroughfares that no, there was one like really minor state highway that I walked alongside for maybe about a mile. But yeah, it was all main streets, like it wasn't any back alleys or anything like that. But yeah, like I didn't even think, oh, I should probably bring a water bottle, or I didn't even think anything of that. I just just started walking, kept walking, ended up there. Yeah, no, my kids are not doing that. Well, partially because the major road right outside of my neighborhood doesn't have shoulder, and people are just gonna run over whoever's trying to walk on the side of the street there. There's no shoulder, and it falls off into a ditch.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it would be very, very, very unsafe for them to try to walk any sort of distance from our place to anywhere else. But even without that, I don't know if I could do it. If I could let my kids, if I would let them walk, 2.5 hours over
with no
to somewhere
cell
else.
phone, with no tracker, with no nothing, just
I gotta figure that my parents are like, we got 5 other kids if he goes missing.
but well, I threaten my kids with that sometimes. But I was just trying to look up the distance. So a news story did just hit here in Atlanta at the end of January. It's January 30th. It was in my face there. But on the YouTube video, it doesn't give the distance. But basically, a 6-year-old, his parents allowed him to go to the park alone, ride a scooter to the park. If I remember correctly, I don't even think it was a mile. I think it's like 6 blocks down. At most, it's a mile, which is more than 6 blocks, I imagine. But it was in the city in a neighborhood where it's safer, so on and so forth. There was somebody at the playground waiting on him. I don't know the details if they had like a tracker on him or anything, but they're trying to give him, a little bit of freedom to be safe in the world. and make sure he could do what he's supposed to do. He not only got to the park okay and did fine. On the way back, he's coming home by himself, and a stranger stopped in a car to ask him questions about where he lived and where his parents were and all the things that they're thinking they're being helpful in stranger danger, and he bolted. He did the right
Oh.
thing, and he bolted home. So that upset the stranger so much that they called the cops, and DFAX has gotten involved, and they're being investigated for let's see if it says here, if it's actual. Um, the allegations were found to be unsubstantiated. Yes, good. But they were basically being investigated by child welfare. They said they were told somebody complained that their son was on the scooter unsupervised. What kind of world? Now I'm with you. I would not let my kids, and I'm going to tell a story myself too, but I would not let my kids, at what age were you again?
I was probably about 14, maybe a little younger.
Okay, at 14, I might let you walk down the street. Yeah, and this is the South. Well, okay, you're in
down
Philly.
the
My
street.
bad. You're in Philly. In the South, it's like, boy, you've been working on the farm for at least 2 years by now. I mean, I expect you're gonna be okay. No, okay, that's fair. But there was, I remember a story a number of years ago, maybe a couple decades now, who knows? But a woman got in trouble in New York City for letting her 8-year-old take the subway to school. They had practice and practice and practice. She's trying to teach them if things go, if we're not around, you got to be able to handle yourself a little bit. And people got upset about that. Again, they got in no trouble. It's like, what's this world coming to that a stranger doesn't realize they are the danger, Bob? And they are approaching this kid who doesn't know them, asking all kind of questions, including where they live, all the no questions. And when he runs away from them to his house, that's the only way they knew where he lived, that they stalked him to his house. They think they're the heroes. It's crazy.
Oh,
All right. So my wife actually just brought up to me that it's been floated. So my youngest daughter, Zoe, she is 12, and she's the baby of the family. She's hitting that phase where she likes to be awkward. She does not like to figure things out, typically. She's fine. She's not a wilting flower or anything like that. But she's the baby of the family, and she acts like it sometimes in that just take care of me kind of way. By all means, both me and my wife have tried to push her into uncomfortable situations. I know you got to start learning, interact with adults. Here's the safe way to do it. Here's what you got to blah, 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 blah. So it's been floated that her recently, a couple months ago, her best friends that lived around the corner, that she'd probably known for about a year at that point, but they were hanging out together, always two sisters, one younger. So it was just as good mix of people. They were homeschooled. She was homeschooled. Everything's going great. They moved. So the mom and dad were already divorced before then. Mom lived out in Texas somewhere. Dad's remarried, blah, blah, blah. Well, whatever reason, dad moves up to Kentucky. It's been floated that basically the mom's going to drive up from Texas to pick up the girls for the summer or for whatever time. And she possibly has offered that she comes back through to head towards Texas, that she can get Zoe and drive Zoe back with them, keep her for a week. Now, this comes from the daughters, right? Zero details. That is the worst place to ever put my wife, is in a world of zero details, because her mind starts scrambling fast and overwhelmingly to fill in those details. So this is how we got to this scenario. It's all a who knows kind of thing. It's a possibility kind of thing that I already shut down, basically. She's like, yeah, we might have to drive out to get her, or she'd drive out. We're not really sure. Blah, blah. But immediately my wife said, or we could get her a flight. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? Oh, no, it'd be like out of Savannah or something, not Atlanta. I'm like, no. Then she's like, I said, you want our kids who have never been on a plane, you want the baby, the youngest of our kids, to have her first plane flight by herself from Texas to Atlanta. She goes, it's not what she didn't mean literally, but she's like, well, that was how mine was. Like, different age. And also, I would not have approved. Period. I said also I didn't approve of that. So not that I literally was there when
Well,
it happened. Of
and
course,
airports were very different when
that's
we
what
were
I
younger.
mean. Right, way different. You could go to the plane. Like I could walk if this were the case. Oh, in Aaron's case, her mom walked her to the literally onboarding ramp,
Yep.
handed her over to the stewardess, eye contact, talk, here's all the information. This is the only person you talk to. Safety first. Of course, they had a young flyer program, whatever. She's 12 or 14, I forget how old she was. But they have something that says, that lets all the staff know, protect this kid and don't let him out of your sight, kind of deal. And then when she landed, her aunt was at the freaking gate where they offboarded and then got them through the airport. Different, you're right, Joe, different time. But I was like, no. It's like, no, I don't understand my wife sometimes because she tries to fight so hard against her overwhelmingly need to protect. And basically, if she gave in to everything she thought, our kids would never leave. They'd be standard homeschool kids. They would never leave the house. No, I would ever talk to them. They would just, because everything's safe right here in the bubble, right? She fights very hard against that, and I commend her for that, right? The kids always have adventures. They're out and about doing things. She does, even if her insides are screaming. Like Crosby is 19 years old, and when all the ice stuff was coming in, right, for Atlanta, ice storms, right, for Atlanta, it turned out to be not a whole lot, especially not the night Crosby was going out at all. It wasn't even starting until like early that morning. And my wife was like, "You need to be here. I don't like that you go," but she'll say it, or she won't say it sometimes, and she'll squish it and still let him out. I'm like,
Yep.
You're 19. Don't be stupid. How about that? I'll see you in the morning type of deal. So yeah, no, there's no way I would let my 12-year-old fly by themselves today, not to a whole nother state. I mean, there's so many times where I've thought about things like, oh, my mom, you talk about walking. I had to go up and alongside the state road. It wasn't maybe a mile, half a mile, but I got to ride my bike or walk over to the Walmart my dad worked at for a little while and hang out and play Mario 3 on the Walmart Nintendo. Would not let my kid do that now, but my family was so strict too that I tell the stories to tell them how stupid and dangerous it was. But I rode my bike 10 miles down the road one day to another church just because. That was it. Just because I was just like, meh, I'm supposed to stop here, but nah, I'm not gonna. Did it barefoot too. That's a whole nother ballgame.
When I was 16, I went to my first major convention, Gen Con.
Yeah.
But I went with my sister's boyfriend, and we stayed at a hotel room with like 2 or 3 random other people that we had never met before.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
And it was in another state. And so like all of that, I'm like, I can't believe my mom said yes to that. Like,
right.
What? It shows how much she trusted my sister's boyfriend, but still, like, yeah, I went to a whole other state with the guy that my sister had been dating for a few months. And yeah.
And sometimes knowledge is not power. Sometimes knowledge is scary. And yeah, dude, I can't imagine. I 8 miles, man. I cannot imagine. Well, I guess I kind of can. Okay, I kind of can. What's a marathon? A 5K is 6 point something miles, I think.
I don't know. Let's see. A marathon is 26 miles.
Went way too far. I think it's like a 5K. What's a 5K?
5K is what, like less? It's less than 3 miles.
No, it's more. It's the other way around.
No, it's 3.1 miles. It's a 5K.
Whatever
I just checked it by
is.
Google.
No, sure. Whatever Peachtree Road Race is. I thought it went the other way with K versus miles, but anyway, I'm probably thinking of something else. That matter. But the Peachtree Road Race, when Oakland was 14, maybe. I don't think he was 13. He might have been, but it's still official. It's still somewhat protected. There's somewhat tracking on them because they have the RFID in the bib or whatever, so that when they pass certain points, it gets a time. But it's still, Aaron, I don't know that I would have done it, but she did it. She went dropped him off at the starting line at like 0:30. You know, it was 4:30, 5:30 in the morning, whatever. And Peachtree is massive. Like the race, the Peachtree Road race is massive. And they have waves up to double letters, I want to say. And he had qualified to be in like wave K or something. You know, the first wave is the racers. And then it's how you qualify with time up to a certain point. Then it's just, you know, if
Everybody
you're
else.
just ready, yeah, basically it's everybody else, yeah. And so she drops him off. Then she's got to find her way to the starting line. And by the time she did all that, not knowing exactly where it was, because she got on the subway, or not subway, the MARTA, which sometimes goes underground, but sometimes doesn't. But you lose signal in areas. So she couldn't track him on his phone, didn't know where he was. Empties into Piedmont Park. You remember, was it Lincoln Park, whatever we went to for Chicago?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's bigger than that. And so
Okay.
even when they say, oh, they're going to adhere, well, that's where the race ends, but the public has to do something different. And so they had to walk to this other side of the park and walk. Yeah, it was like finding him in the crowd of people and everything. So I can kind of imagine doing that, but that's a very strict and straightforward path. Very, very, I mean, there's cops on the way, there's volunteers on the way, there's so many eyes on that road that it'd be hard for something bad to happen. I cannot imagine, Joe, letting them go 8 miles up there. They want to walk to the corner store every once in a while. We're like, oh, hell no. That's never going to happen. It'd be different if we had the house on the other side of the road where you could just climb the fence and go or something. But people crazy, man. People don't pay attention to anything. Texting and driving is the devil. And
Oh, yeah.
it's, I cannot imagine. So now let's roll the dice on which kid asks you if they can walk at least 4 miles somewhere.